Hey y'all. So I just wanted to share, I guess the main way I like to play this game. I like to play, or I've tried to use the custom sandbox settings to make my world like High School of the Dead. It's an anime. It's one of my favorite animes of all time. It's freaking awesome. Uh, and so I've been kind of experimenting, trying to figure out like exactly how I would like make try to reflect that world in this game. And so I'm gonna pull up my, like you see I have it saved here. And I was actually kind of surprised. I quickly Google or YouTube searched like High School of the Dead Project Zomboid, and there's only like a couple videos, which is very surprising to me. Like I'm not gonna make like a playthrough or anything. I just wanted to kind of share, my settings. I think it's pretty cool. It's just fun to like kind of recreate certain zombie universes in this game. So anyway, I just wanted to run through and kind of like explain why I chose certain things. So zombie count, like most of the settings I kept normal. Like zombie count, most of these things I just assume, like I'll kind of assume that like normal just means, okay, that's just the normal, like when they say normal, I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's like reflective of like the real world's population of this area. So I just keep it normal, and obviously I keep this urban focus because it's like, well, most people, are in the cities, so it makes sense to just leave it like that. So time, since the game is balanced around 1 hour, like if you put it on, like I wanted to play with 24 hours, but like real time, but the game isn't balanced for that. So like if you're playing in real time, your guy will get tired in like 1 hour, like one in-game hour, like one real life hour, but like it wouldn't make any sense. So your guy would be like sleeping like all day, and like it just wouldn't work. So I just leave it at 1 hour. I kind of wish they would change that setting to where it would. I mean, like it would really break the game, So they really can't, because then, but whatever. That's another topic. So the start month I actually left on July coincidentally because I was trying to. So I went through the show again and I was trying to I was watching through the show a little bit to like see if there was any dates. And there's actually not it from what I could tell. Like I've never read the manga, but in the anime, there's no like official dates. Like on the show, some of the like episodes will open up and it'll say like Z Day 5 or something, which doesn't mean anything. Um, and I wasn't really able. Like I was trying to look for like calendars and stuff, but like I didn't really watch through the whole show and like exactly find out what day it is. So what I ended up doing was I um, looked up the release day of the manga, excuse me, the anime, and it released on July 5th, 2010, I think. So I just used July 5th, which actually lines up with the Japanese school year, because in the show they're in school, and I believe Japanese schools begin in April, like April 1st. That's their first quarter, or like term or whatever. Um, and in the show, you can kind of tell that some time, like it's not the beginning of the school year, some time has passed in the show. So I thought this date really lined up pretty well with that. So it's like, some time has passed. It's not April. It's a couple months into the school year. So I figured this would work best. And start time, in the like really, I think it would be closer to 9 a.m. To be honest. But it's actually kind of strange. Actually, I'm sorry. Now, come to think of it, the game doesn't start at. Does it start at 7? I guess so. It's kind of weird because like the first thing I do when I spawn is I make sure I spawn into a house with a TV so I can get the Life and Living channel, and I actually just realized that because I think I might actually change that to 9 a.m. Or no, maybe I'll keep it at 7. So the thing is that the Life and Living channel starts at 6 a.m. and you start at 7, but it plays when you spawn in. Like if you turn on TV immediately when you spawn in, you can get the first cooking channel. It's actually strange. I'm just not realizing that. But I'm actually thinking it's maybe 9 a.m. because when Takashe in the show, when he like initially sees the zombies attacking the teachers at the gate, it's in the morning. I think actually I think I might need to go back and watch the first episode to confirm that because it appears to be like early morning because later in like I think episode 2 or 3, it's nighttime, and I'm assuming that's because like a whole day has passed since the outbreak. So I think the outbreak in the show happens around the morning. But I'm actually after I put it's kind of counterproductive. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pause the video and watch the episode real quick, and then and I'll get back with you. Maybe I can make some live changes. All right, so I know this is kind of lame that I'm doing this on the fly like this, but I think it's kind of fun to just talk about my thought process here. Okay, so turns out I'm watching through the first episode on 4 times speed, and in the beginning, Takashi is having flashbacks of 410 of that year actually. There was a date on a chalkboard, so it was 410. Also, something else I was considering was the cherry blossoms are actually in bloom in the show, and I looked up when cherry blossoms bloom, and it's usually in April. Um, However, some sites said that they can actually bloom for like 4 months. So they usually start in March or April. So 4 months could lead into July. But I'm gonna keep investigating, see if I can figure this out. I mean, not to mention that the first episode is literally called Spring in the Dead or Spring of the Dead or whatever. All right, and I also just saw a poster in one of the flashbacks that was advertising something for 5:30, January, February, March, April, May 30th. So there's that. So apparently, so we can conclude that the show, at least at that time, was taking place in the flashback at around 4:10 through 5:30. So all right, so it's starting the part where the first zombie is like attacking the school, and I've been trying to like look at the sun this whole time, and like to figure out what time it is. Now it looks like it's like maybe 11 a.m. possibly. But like the sun is either like just bright light, and like I'm trying to like I'm trying to like geolocate where the sun is relative to the characters and blah blah blah, and it's hard because either they don't directly show the sun, they're just showing light, or it's just too, I don't know. Like when they're actually running away from zombies on the roof and whatnot, it looks like the sun is up like about noon or 11. So I'm gonna keep watching. All right, so yeah, I just watched the part where Takashi bitch slaps fucking Ray. But anyway, so actually coincidentally in that scene, there's a shot of a chalkboard in the background that says. Now, I don't know if these are dates. It just says 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm assuming those are days, but there's some kanji and or whatever. Like, I can't... Like, it just says 18, 19. Like, I don't know if... I don't... it doesn't, like, show the month. So I don't know if that's a month or, like, something else. So... Maybe that's an indication because there's 19 and then there's writing like in the boxes next to the 19, but then the 20 and the 21 are blank. So I'm assuming that it's the 19th of, I guess, April. So that's something we're going off of. All right, so as far as I can tell, it appears to be April 19th. Sometime around like it's not, I don't think it's noon. I think it's morning. The only shot of the sun I saw, like it's either like 10 or 11 a.m. or 1 or 2. So I can't really tell. I mean, it's not that important, but like I want to be as true to the show as possible. Now, here's the thing though. So actually, let's, I guess, go ahead and change this. I've been playing on that setting this whole time. So yeah, I guess we'll just do April 19th, because that appears to be what it is. Now, in terms of the time though, since this is it Kentucky, right? Yes, it's Kentucky. So we're actually gonna, I already did this, but since I've changed the time, I don't know now. But so let's, excuse me, let's see what time it would be. If in Japan it's 9 a.m., I believe it would be like 11 p.m. in America. If it is 9 a.m. in Japan, What time is it in America? Well, I shouldn't say America. I should say in Kentucky. Good old Kentucky. Okay, sorry. It would be 8 p.m. So, now, I'm obviously, in terms of the lore of High School of the Dead, I mean, really, I should probably watch. I recently rewatched the show like a couple months ago, so I'm sorry, I really don't want to like go through and watch it again in detail. You know what I'm saying? So we're well, I guess since there's no 8 p.m. Oh, look at that! I didn't realize it looped over like that. I think we'll do. Well, so here's the thing, right? So, well, actually, if it was the 19th, so it would actually be. Wait, hold on. Because wouldn't that be a day forward? So, see, this is the problem. Hold on. Okay, so what here? I'm gonna look up because it's what is the time or what is the date in Japan right now? That's a dumb question, but okay. So right now in Japan it is Friday, May 19th. Here, hold on. Yeah, right now it is currently 12 a.m. for me. So what is the time in Japan now? So it's the 19th at 2:05 p.m. right now. So they're 14 hours ahead of whatever time we are. So if it's 9 a.m., they're ahead. So we need to go back 14 hours. So that would be 9, right? Or no, I'm sorry. It'd be 7. It'd be 7 p.m. their time or our time here. Correct? So, damn, that kind of screws things up. So, here's the thing, right? Now, if there was a 7 p.m. here, I would choose that. But since I can't tell, here, hold on. Here's another. See, the problem is that we're doing a bunch of different cultures and stuff. So, how long do Japanese students go to school? I hope they're giving me like a time for the day. No, not years. Okay, let's ask it a different question. How many hours a day do Japanese students go to school? Okay, so they only go 6.5 hours? Damn, I know they sometimes go on Saturday. Okay, well shit. Okay, so in general, kids have to be at school at 8:45. Okay, see, we need to be on the Japanese school system because waking up at fucking set. Okay, whatever. Anyway, school finishes around the same time as America. Okay, so if that's the case, right? It still really does, because what I was trying to do is I was trying to narrow down that whole sun thing because I'm trying to figure out if it's like 11 a.m. or if it's, you know. In terms of the context of the show, like when he goes and finds Ray and Hisashi or whatever, they're still in class, and like the teacher's teaching. So I'm assuming I guess Japanese students would have like advisory, and it's okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that it's still the morning. If like a teacher is still in the classroom teaching, like, you know, we can just assume that maybe if it was like 2 or 3, you know, whatever, then class would be over. So yeah, I'm just gonna assume it's like 11 a.m. So okay, I need to go through my thought process here. So we're gonna assume it's like 11. If it is 11 a.m. in Japan. I could do this in my head. I'm just making sure. What time is it in Kentucky? Okay, so 11 a.m. is 10 p.m. for Kentucky. Okay, so that doesn't really work because there's no 10 p.m. But so fuck it, we're just gonna do 9 p.m. because that's the closest. Now, I was kind of cutting off my train of thought. So in terms of the lore, like this stuff could have happened like in America, right? Because we don't know. I think in the show they said it started in America and they were trying to contain it, but it broke out like through that day and it just rapidly went across the world. Um, again, if I could like detail watch the show and like try to figure all this stuff out, I could probably narrow it down. I guess that's another reason why I'm kind of making this video, because maybe if there's some High School of the Dead fans out there that want to sleuth this before I do, that would be cool if they commented. But so we're just going to assume, right? So, and then also it would be the day prior, so it would actually be the 18th in America. We're at this time in Kentucky. So, all right. So Japan's actually a day ahead of us. That's interesting. Um, I think I'm doing that right. Uh, yeah, because in America, the more you go east, the you jump forward time. Yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, um, I'm I'm perplexed here. I don't want to look like an idiot. Now hold on a second. Um, what time is it in Japan? I looked that up earlier, and I think that it was like not 2 p.m. Yeah, okay. So they're ahead of us. Like almost half a day. Okay. I'm just making sure. Anyway, so that's roughly the time frame. Man, this whole time I've been just doing I didn't look into it as much, and I was just doing July because that's when the anime came out. But okay. So I guess I'll be starting at night now. I don't really know how that's going to affect the Life and Living channel. Like, I mean, now I won't have to like worry about getting a TV on right away. I don't know if it'll play the cooking show right away though. I would assume it would just play the next morning. Anyway, that'll be fun to figure out. So yeah, sorry, that was not what I expected to do. So I'm saving those settings now. I'll play like that from now on. Now let's move on to world. I think kind of explained everything. Yeah. So okay. So water. I've researched questions on Google. Like, okay, if everybody just died and like no one was maintaining water plants and whatnot. Long story short, these are all pretty accurate. I believe the water would shut off in like. So it wouldn't shut off, but it would become undrinkable within about a week. I think it said, or 2 weeks or something like that. And the electricity is basically the same thing. I don't I have a basic understanding of how an electric grid works. Long story short, it would turn off in around this time. So these settings are all fine because we're trying to, High School of Dead's world is the real world. So we're trying to make this as realistic as possible. And I've looked up house alarm frequencies. Now, in the United States, very rarely do people actually have alarms, as in like if you're opening the door and whatnot. Not many households have house alarms. So that's why I turned it on to rare. I did it by percentage. I can't remember what percentage it was saying, but basically I did okay like by 20 intervals here. So I was like, okay, so there's 100%, 80%, 60%, 40%, 20%, 0%. So that's how I did that. And whatever the number was, it wasn't 20%. I think it was like 30 or something percent. So that's why I chose rare. So that's like the most close to reality. Locked house is actually just, yeah, most Americans lock their houses when they leave. So that's why I kept it on very often. And actually, I just want to double check. What percentage of Americans lock their homes? I think that was the question I asked. Nearly a third of Americans could. Okay, that's not. What percentage of American homes are locked? I don't know how to. I can't remember. Okay, 7% of Americans don't lock their doors. Okay, so that's rare that they. Yeah, so. Okay, yeah, so it's very often. On an average, so it says like 23% say they seldom lock their doors when they're home. Oh, when they're home. So yeah, okay, like I'm just making a broad assumption that whatever, I can't remember the site that I found that gave me the metric I was using, but I'm comfortable leaving it very often. Most homes are going to be locked when you try to open them, whether the people are home or at home. So like at my I mean just my what do you say uh wow, I can't think of that word. Wow, anecdote my anecdotal, whatever. Like I lock my door when I'm home, so that's fine. We're keeping everything normal. Like, I don't know how fast food spoilage is in this game, but since it's balanced around that 1 hour per day, like I just leave it normal because I assume that's like normal to reality. Same with the refrigerator and whatnot. Rotten food removal. Number of in-game days before rotten food is removed. I don't want any of the items to be removed because, like, so in terms of food removal, we have it on -1 because it's never removed. Because I don't want things in refrigerators just like disappearing. Like you can put it in the compost. I believe you can put it in the compost and remove it that way. So like I don't want things to just disappear for no reason. Loot respawn we turned off because this is real. I want this to be like real life. So no, we definitely keep that off. Um, and I'm not trying to like read all these, but I'm trying to remember for myself. And I mean, we have it on 0 because we're not going to respawn any loot. The world item removal list, I don't have any of the items removing at all. Everything stays in the world because it's like real life. So that's pretty self-evident. That's nothing. Months, obviously, this is right, we're starting right away. This is the beginning of the apocalypse. Darkness during night, again, I want this to be like real life, so I put it at pitch black. Fire spread, obviously. Generator working in exterior. I am not gonna lie, I don't really know exactly what that means. I've never had to use a generator yet. On exterior, yeah, I think I watched a video where someone said like I don't know why you would not have that checked, so it's default checked, so I'm just gonna leave it. Initial gas amount I just left on normal because I'm assuming this is like, now I don't know. See, here's the thing, like there's no random option here, so I don't know if that means that governs how full gas tanks in fuel stations will be initially. So like I don't know if that means that every gas station will be at normal levels, or it will be what levels would be perceived as normal, if that makes sense. Like I kind of wish there was like a random, like here's the thing, like I've actually worked at a gas station, and the gas tanks under the ground, they're never like running out, you know what I mean? Like they get a delivery like every day, or something like that. So most of the time, like, and I think I remember they don't fill them up completely because of like the gas fumes or something. But anyway, so I just leave it at normal because we're just going to assume that's like the normal amounts. So gas stations, it's not necessarily rare for them to run low on fuel and actually like not be able to pump any more gas. It only happened like one time out of the like year I worked at the gas station, so it's not common. I kind of wish there was a random interval for this, like hey, maybe that gas station was low, and like I kind of wish you could do like it'd be rare if you come across a gas station that's like low on fuel, but most gas stations are going to be full. So anyway, light bulb lifespan, I just leave it, I guess, normal, like default, because since the game is balanced around the 1 hour, I just leave that the same. Now in terms of nature, I don't really change any of these because everything's just normal. And I don't know how long compost takes to break down, and 2 weeks. So it's like, again, since this is a game and this is balanced around the game's settings, I'm just leaving it as normal. Like maybe compost takes like, I don't know, 2 months to do, but I don't know that. And really compost depends on what you're using as compost, like what kind of are you using, like I don't know. So I don't know much about that, so I just leave it at normal since it's balanced around that. Now the helicopter event I actually left on as once because I assumed, like in the show, like in the first episode, there's helicopters flying around. So I just, like, obviously this isn't like perfect to the show, but the military basically abandons the public, right? So they basically do their like, or at least in the duration of the show, the helicopters fly over that like 1 day or 2 days, and then they're basically gone. The military is absent. So I just left it on as once. Meta events. Since this world in High School of the Dead, it's not like a zombie apocalypse where like everybody's dead and it's like you would see a human like extremely rarely. Like there's a ton of people still alive. Now, granted, this is like the beginning stages of the apocalypse, but there's gonna be a lot of people still living and surviving in this world. So sometimes I felt was fine. Because there's not very many options here, so I just left that. Sleeping events, from what I understand, is like you can wake up and zombie like you'll just randomly wake up in the middle of the night and like a zombie will spawn or something, and that just sounds dumb. So I just left that off because there's no reason like that should happen. That they really need to clarify what that means. Okay, so metas, and this is another one I actually looked up. It's very rare for Americans to have generators. Um, it's just not something that every household like has. And like these spawn in like now I looked up households, so that doesn't include like industrial buildings and whatnot. I think I actually looked up what percentage. I think I did do households, but since most of the buildings you're looting are like, because you're looking in people's like sheds for generators, right? Typically, so I just left that as rare because most people don't have generators or any kind of backup power supply is what the site said that I read. So we're leaving that the way it is. Fuel consumption, again, it's just normal. Um, Randomized houses. I I actually haven't really thought of this setting. Discover randomized safe houses, either burnt out, containing loot stashes, dead survivor bodies. Hmm. Now I don't like finding burnt houses, but within the context of this world, there is a lot of fires going on. I don't know. Containing loot stashes, dead survivor bodies. Maybe I should. I actually think I should increase that. Hmm. I'm sorry. I didn't expect to actually be thinking of this on the fly. I mean, in the context of the show, there's a lot of survivors, right? There's a lot of fires going on. So, because it's not like, again, it's not like everybody just dropped dead. Like, there's still human activity. Dead survivor. So there are some. Yeah, actually, I think I should do it at least sometimes. I think I should change that to at least sometimes. If that makes sense. Increase, decrease probability of discovering randomized safe houses on the map. Those are like the boarded up buildings, either burnt out, containing loot stashes, dead survivors. It would either be sometimes or often. Like, here's the thing. Like, I'm trying. Like, I want to stay true to the show as much as possible. Like, I have no problems making the game quote unquote easy because in the real life, like, I hate apocalypse shows where like it's so rare to find guns and like food. And I'm just like, no. Like, if everybody up and died, like even in the context of High School of the Dead, there's a fuck ton of canned food. There's a fuck ton of guns in Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't be hard to feed and defend yourself, you know? So that's, I'm fine with making it quote unquote easy because the survival aspect of a real apocalypse wouldn't be difficult. Your main fear would just be not getting killed by people or the zombies. Like, you wouldn't be worrying about like starving to death. So, I'm gonna try sometimes for now because I want to see how the game kind of plays out. I might in the future change that to often, but I guess maybe we could just leave that to personal preference. Randomized vehicles storage chance, and of course there's no fucking tooltip. Why would you not have put a tooltip for that? Okay, wow. I know vehicle stories. I know that means like, because I've spawned into the Rosewood a couple times, and I've noticed that different cars spawn and whatnot. Like one time, I remember I saw a like a pickup truck next to a pothole or a manhole, and it had like cones around it. And the next time I spawned in there, that manhole was gone, and the cones in the truck. So I know that's what that means, but I don't know what it means exactly. Like again, I kind of want to put this on sometimes because I assume that would mean. See, they need to really explain this more. Randomized zone stories chance. Now, I think that's like I came across a campsite, uh, and I know that spawns in randomly. So zone, since this is the beginning of the apocalypse, I think we'll actually leave that on. I kind of want to just put it on sometimes too because that kind of evens everything out. Yeah, because like if people are trying to survive, they probably would set up camps or like I know there's like I don't know if like because I know there's a zone story where you can find like naked people and like that's like a story's chance like you can find naked people like I guess that you can assume we're banging or something. And I think that's a story thing. So I think we'll put it on sometimes because like we're trying to simulate this like things are happening in this apocalypse. So I think we'll do that. Animated, I think again we'll leave it on sometimes because here's the thing: you have to think that not everybody's going to be making safe houses, not everybody's going to be putting up tents, but people will, and there's quite a few people. So I think that's just a good mindset. I think sometimes overall would just be better because not all survivors are going to do that, but a lot of them would. All right. Time before corpse removal. I calculated this to be, I believe, because the time it takes for a human body to decompose, obviously depending, like even in High School of the Dead, they talk about it. Like the nurse is like, oh, if it's winter, it'll slow it down because the skin would be cold and like whatever. But like if you were to just like put a person like or like kill like have a corpse, it would take I think two. Wow, I'm an idiot. Okay, Google. Divide 720 by 24.
720 divided by 24 is 30.
It's 30. Okay, I'm a fucking retard. So yeah, it said it took around a month for it to like all the skin to be completely gone and basically be a skeleton. So that's basically what I did. Um, decaying corpse health impact. Yeah, and that I just left on normal. That's like you'll get sick and stuff if you stay next to corpses. Blood level, obviously we put it on ultra gore because High School of the Dead is like very dramatic with its blood, and it's awesome, so we just put it on there. Corpse maggot spawn, I just that's normal, like right, because obviously maggots would be around. So loot rarity, I just put everything on normal, because again like in a real apocalypse like High School of the Dead, it's not like poof, oh zombies are here, oh my cupboards are empty, like there's no food at Walmart, you know what I mean? So like everything's pretty normal. This is America. There's a ton of stuff here, so this is supposed to simulate like you're just going into people's normal like even in the show, they're going into the nurse friend's apartment and it's untouched. It has guns, it has food, it has everything. So, the survival stuff isn't important in a real apocalypse. It's just not dying from zombies or people. So, I mean, there's no people in this game because I'm not playing multiplayer, but okay, so we can move on. XP multiplier, this is all balanced around the game, so I just kept it normal. I just kept all this normal, basically. We don't want to. I didn't want to get a starter kit because, like, first of all, you don't need it, and that feels like cheating. So, and all these are basically just normal. And I kept this. I was kind of hesitant on this option actually I because this is just kind of it's actually kind of role playing because just because like in the context of High School of the Dead, like I guess you could say it would be high because the characters do kind of act surprised when like they see zombies behind them, but it's not like this is just such a vague stat because first of all it's a chance, and like I don't know because I want to leave it on high just to make the game somewhat difficult, but like I play like my character the way I build my characters I have like eagle eye or whatever it is so I can see behind me pretty well, like my peripheral vision. um like I don't know, I guess I'll just leave it at high because that's normal and the game is balanced around high. So like it's just such a strange thing to try to figure out because like it's a chance of being bitten when a zombie attacks from behind. So I mean, I guess I'll just leave it at high. I don't really know what to think about that one actually. Weapon multi-hit. I don't I don't see a reason why this like see here this is a kind of another weird one too. Like obviously in real life, if you swung a baseball bat, I mean, like I'm not saying that you would do like you would hit one zombie in the head and then it would like knock it back or like down, and like you would in that same swing you would hit another zombie. Like I'm not saying that it should like I kind of wish it would do like less damage. Like maybe you could target one zombie and then if another one is near that zombie it would do like half damage or something because like obviously you're not going to get the full power of a swing. So I kind of hesitate to keep that on, but in terms of a realistic standpoint, it's like, well, yeah, obviously I could hit more than one person when I'm like swinging, right? So, I'll just leave it on for that reason, but I kind of want to turn it off. Um, Disable to walk unimpeded while melee attacking. Um, disable to walk unimpeded while melee attacking. Okay, no, that's like cheating. Obviously, if you're trying to put your force into a swing, you're gonna not be able to like walk backward at the same time, if that's what that means. I believe this. Actually haven't tried this. I think this means that you get like all the clothing in the game unlocked, so you can just like spawn in with like military gear, which obviously we don't want to do that. Poisoning, like obviously yes, food poisoning is a real thing, so we're keeping that on. Um, Obviously, no mini map. The only reason I allowed a world map is because there's no like, there's no atlas item or globe or what I mean. So like, yes, you can find the maps, but they're maps of like certain parts. So like in real life, you could find like a city map or a state map. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason I kept that on. And obviously we turned that off because we don't know everything. Vehicles obviously spawn in. Easy use, no. Yeah, we don't want that. Recent survivor vehicles, I think, do we need, or no? Governs whether a player can discover a car that has been maintained. See, I don't really know 100% what that means, but I just put it on normal car spawner. Like this is a normal world, so yeah, like we're just gonna keep everything normal. And just that's default for the noise, so we're just gonna keep that balanced right. Gas normal. Lock frequency. So I turn this on to very often actually because either most since like most cars nowadays either like my car will like it's a I mean it's definitely not a new car, but it's not old. And it auto locks if I walk away. So like most cars in America now have an auto lock feature, or people lock their cars when they leave. Very like some people don't like. I have a friend that like doesn't lock his car, which for some fucking reason because he's a crazy person. But I looked it up, and most people either lock their cars or their cars lock for them. So that's why I kept it on or I turned it to very often. General condition, I just kept as normal because it's like it's the real world, so why wouldn't they be normal? And then you'll find wrecked cars and stuff, so it's not a problem. Car wreck congestion, obviously, like this is simulating like people crashing and stuff, so we want that on. Car alarm frequency, I turn on as often. Most cars nowadays come with built-in car alarms, but obviously not all of them do, so that's why I didn't put it on very often. So I think often's good. That's fine. Car damage normal. Siren shut off. So this I believe is measured in hours. Yes, in-game hours before whaling. So most car alarms, I believe it said go off for 50. I'm sorry. That would be 10. Am I stupid? Wait a minute. Could I do 5? Or no. Hold on a second. No, yeah, that is 10 minutes. Yeah, it goes off for 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I really am just a retard when it comes to math. Um, so yeah, no, that's 10 minutes. That most car alarms will go off before they automatically turn off. Obviously, some are less, some are more, but on average, they're about 10 minutes. Damage to player hit from a car, I just put on as normal because by the player from the car, yeah, I mean, like, I guess normal is just like, yeah, like, if you crash a car, like, it would hurt, so normal would be like, yeah, it would hurt. I assume that's what that means. I don't know why that's not, like, what's it normally at? What the fuck? Okay. Damage to player from hit by a car. Damage to player from that is a weird sentence. Damage to player from hit by a car. Damage received by the player from the car in a collision. I mean, I don't know why that's not normal. Okay, whatever. All right, so now the zombie lore. This is important stuff. So speed, I just have as Shamblers because in High School of the Dead, there's no like sprinters, and they're very slow. Like they just stumble. Like the zombies in the show can like barely move. Like they can move, but it's like not much, you know. So that's why they're all Shamblers. Strength. Now I actually just changed this before I made this video. I used to play it superhuman because there are parts in the show where the zombies just do shit that is like really superhuman, it seems. But actually rewatching the episode just now, like there's like the part that I remembered off the top of my head was like in the first episode, like there's a zombie where Hisashi grabs it from the back and then it like breaks its neck as it like turns its head to like look at him while his body's facing forward. And I'm just like, oh god damn, that's like superhuman shit right there. And like I was trying to remember, like I could have sworn there was a part where one of the zombies like picked up a person or something. Anyway, and then I was like, oh, okay, there's that part where Ray stabs one of them on the staircase, and then it like picks her up, like kind of with the pole she had, and like hit her against the wall. And I'm just like, okay, I mean like that's kind of superhuman. But honestly, I kind of went back on my logic because after watching it, I'm like, yeah, I mean like a normal person could do that. So I guess that's like normal strength. Now, I know this variable means it controls the amount of damage that the zombies do. So I was looking at the show, and like one example, Hisashi gets bit, like the zombie lunges onto his like bites on his like forearm, and I'm like, okay, I mean he's biting him through his like jacket, and I'm trying to think here, like if you were a person, right? And you were actually, maybe I should turn that to superhuman again because like you got to think like you're really not gonna be able to bite through a cloth, you know, even a cloth like jacket, you know what I mean, like or a slick silky like school uniform. You know, you're not gonna be able to bite through that thing and draw blood. I don't think. Like I mean the human jaw is pretty powerful, but like the teeth are not that sharp to like you know what I mean? Like I don't really know how to like make sense of this in terms of the show because at first I was like, okay, is this their like strength of their just bodies or is this like, you know, their mouths? So it really in terms of strength it's their mouths or I don't know because they swipe at you too. So I guess that does I don't know. No, I think I need to put this at normal. I'm sorry, I'm actually thinking about this in like in real time. I think normal is actually I don't know, it's kind of in the middle. Like they're not normal, but they're just a bit stronger. But I think normal will be fine. Because I'm trying to think, like, okay, if a zombie just bites you normally, I mean, like these zombies are like chomping on them, right? Like they're drawing blood. Obviously, it's all exaggerated, like blood's going everywhere. But like, it's not like they're just biting them, right? Like it's just normal bites. So that's just normal. I don't know. I think for that regard, we'll just keep it at normal. Toughness, we just kept it normal because like the zombies in the show are actually kind of resilient. Not resilient, but like you know, they're normal. I mean, like just for an example, like stomping on a human head to crush it is actually pretty tough. You're probably gonna do damage to your foot before you stomp a skull, depending on what kind of shoes you're wearing, which actually kind of makes sense for the game because you know military boots are better for damage and whatever. But I mean, a human head is like a coconut, so you know if you stomp on a coconut, it's gonna hurt. Which actually is cool because the game actually makes you get pain from stomping on a head, so that's awesome. So we're just gonna leave it at normal because that's about right. Transmission, I just put on blood and saliva. The show doesn't really explain, you know, like how the virus is spread exactly. So I just assume that it's blood and saliva. Infection mortality. Now I put this on never because frankly, like okay, again in the show, it doesn't explain like if people are immune or you know really the only person you really see turn is the little girl's dad in Hisashi from like what I can remember off the top of my head. I don't really think there's many. Well, I guess you see the gangster turn at the end of one of the episodes, but like I guess you could imply that you're just dead when you get bit, but me personally, I like to think that some people are immune to it for whatever reason. And honestly, just from a gameplay perspective, you know, I play this game to like complete it, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to be dying every like 2 seconds. Like that's not fun to me. So, I just put it on never. I don't want to turn. Now, I like that because you still get the terrible effects from getting bit and infected. So like you still get queasy, you still get unpleasantly hot, like you have an illness, which I think is fine. Like I like that punishment of like, oh, I got bit. Well, now I'm still kind of learning how like you disinfect things, and I run the resilient trait. Like I make my character like me, or like I try to role play as myself. So I put on resilient, and I think that lowers the well. It says it slows down the zombification process, I think. So I don't really understand how the infection works necessarily, but anyway, it's not really important. So yeah, that's why I have that as that. Reanimation time, I just put at well, because actually I think I might need to. Well, I don't know because I think that's a good time frame because in the show like he turns within, I guess it's implied, like maybe 30 minutes. The gangster again probably the same thing, like 15 minutes possibly. Now the dad of the little girl, like he turns in like 2 minutes. But if this right here was like 0 to 10 minutes or 0 to a half hour, I would choose that. But this has more variable to it. Not that this even matters anyway, right? Because like I think this is only for like multiplayer or something, or if you play the game where you actually die and like I'm not really sure like if I died and like because I start over when I die. I don't play on the same world. So I don't know if that would be like the time it would take for my dead corpse to turn into a zombie. So, but anyway, just for lore reasons, I just put it at that. Cognition, I just put basic navigation because the zombies in the show are like they just react to sound really, like because they're blind, and they just go wherever sound is. So I just put basic navigation. They're not like intelligent or anything. They just follow whatever they hear. Crawl under vehicle. Now again, the zombies in the show don't like go out. They don't have the like the zombies in the show, like if they get to like a hip high wall, they just fall over it, kind of like the zombies do in the game. Like they don't have the like logic and brain power to like be like, oh, I need to climb under this car, So a crawler zombie would just crawl under a car because it's like that's how it is traveling. So that's why I put that on there. Memory, I put. See, this is kind of weird. Controls how long zombies remember players after seeing or hearing. Now, I put this as long because, again, the zombies in the show only go off of sound. They can't, like, they literally can't see anything in the show. Like, you can be right up close to them and they don't see it. Now, sadly, you can't make them blind. Like, I actually kind of wish there was a blind setting. So I just put it on poor for that reason. And if I just put it as long because I'm like, okay, well, if a zombie in the show heard the player for whatever reason, like, yeah, it would just like keep going until it like. Well, see, here's the thing, because like the zombies AI isn't one to the show, because like in High School of the Dead, a zombie would like if it heard footsteps of a person, it would just go to where the footsteps are, and then once it was in that general area, it might stumble around or just keep walking forward. It wouldn't necessarily follow a person; it would just follow the sound. But again, you're thinking about the show. It's like, okay, well, how does a zombie know to attack? Like, do they smell people or what? But obviously they don't smell people because you can be right up close to them, and they don't see you or react. So it's like, again, there's a lot of like liberties here, I suppose, but that's basically why I just put it on as long. It's not perfect. Honestly, High School of the Dead's rules don't make any sense, but anyway, hearing I put it on as normal because the zombies in the show, they don't have like, again, like I was saying, like they don't have like pinpoint sound. They would probably just like continue toward a noise they heard and then like just keep going or just kind of stumble around where they heard the noise. Like it's not pinpoint. They just kind of vaguely go to where the sound is because you have to think like trees are around and houses and sound echoes and bounces off surfaces. So I just put it down as normal. Uh, Environmental attacks. Now, at first I actually turned this on. Zombies that have not seen or heard players can attack doors and constructions while roaming. Now, in this show, there are a couple times where you kind of see the zombies like banging on walls. They're not like attacking the wall though. They're like just bumping into it or just like stumbling around, you know. So that's why I kept that off. Plus, it's just fucking annoying, you know. Like I hate when zombies are just like. Now, I wish you could simulate it to where they do that. Like randomly, a zombie might just be walking and it runs into a window and just like starts banging its head on the like they should add animations where they're not like attacking the window, they're just like bumping into it or like kind of stumbling around just like for whatever reason, because they're blind and whatever. But I just leave it off. Damage to constructions, I don't see why zombies wouldn't be able to damage constructions. Now, I don't like the idea of zombies innately attacking a construction to get to a player, because the zombies in High School of the Dead wouldn't like attack a barricade, you know what I mean? Like they would just run into it and just try to reach, like if something's blocking them, and like let's just say you're on the other side of a built wall. Actually, I think I might actually turn that off. Wait, hold on. Governs whether or not zombies can destroy player constructions and defenses. Yeah, so like I constructions and defenses. Like I don't know if, because I've never built anything. I don't know if that means that like if I build a door they can't attack the door, because I definitely don't want that. I'm assuming that means like walls and stuff. So like a zombie wouldn't attack a wall. It wouldn't attack a staircase. It wouldn't even necessarily attack a door, you know. It just, whatever was in its way. Like that's why I have the navigation as basic. Like if a zombie heard a noise and it came from like, and they heard the noise on the other side of a wall rather than like, oh, it's in that room so I need to walk into that room, they would just run into the wall and just like like bang on the wall or like be angry towards the wall. You know what I mean? Like they would just, because that wall is blocking their path, so they would just run into it. You know what I mean? That's actually, yeah, I think I'll have to experiment with that, because if it makes it to where I can just build a door and they just can't get in, like that's dumb. I wouldn't want that just for gameplay purposes. We'll see about that. I'll need to experiment with that. Day and night activity, obviously they're just both. Like these zombies aren't like feral or nocturnal or whatever. So, zombie house alarm triggering, I turn that on because I want an alarm's gonna go off no matter who triggers it. So we turn that on. Drag down, obviously yes. There's plenty of times in the show where people are getting dragged down by multiple zombies. So this is actually what ends up killing me. Now I don't know if since I changed this to normal, because this will be the first time I play through with it just being normal. That's literally the only time my runs get ended, where I get too greedy or I get too pinched in like in a tight space, and like basically if more than two zombies start attack, like I'll get bit by one and then one will bite, another one will bite me, and I'll just get like gangbanged basically. I kind of think it's stupid, and I hope that with change, that's why I changed that to normal, because I'm honestly hoping that doesn't happen, because it's honestly really fucking stupid, because like if you just get bit by two zombies and they just like hacky sack you can't do anything. Now I'm still learning the game. I only have like 100 hours in it, and I don't know if that means, like, I don't know if your fitness or your body weight or something affects your ability to like get bit and run away. Like obviously in real life, if you're getting bit, you're gonna be like pulling away and trying to get the hell out of there. Like for me, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but like if I get bit, my guy just stands there. He just takes the bite and then anyway. But yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't be getting. I mean, obviously the zombies are gonna drag you down. They're just they're not going to drag you down, but this is going to simulate them like just falling all over you and like just trying to eat you. So fence lunge, I kept this on because it, again, the zombies, like, since the zombies in High School of the Dead, they're just trying to eat you. They're not trying to attack you. They're just trying to devour you. So it's not that they wouldn't like not lunge at you like after falling down a fence and like landing on the ground, but like like they wouldn't be swiping at you to like make you fall over. They would just be swiping at you to get a hold of you to eat you. So that's why I left that on. Like it doesn't like in the game like there's just swiping at you and you fall over. So I don't really like that. I kind of wish there was a mechanic where they could like grab your feet and like hold you and keep you still for a second, while they're trying to pull you down. And depending on your strength and like body level and whatever would depend on if you could break away and like not get bit or something. Anyway, so I just leave that on. I feel like that's fair. The zombies in the show don't play dead. Like they're all like if they're laying on the ground, that's just because like they haven't heard anything to stimulate them, or just they fell over and didn't get back up, or I don't I turned that off. I turned it to where zombies will never pretend to be dead, because it's not like in the show they don't just like stop making noise. Like the zombies are always making groans and moans and whatnot, so you would be able to tell. Now, in terms of population, I kept the population normal. The start, I want all the zombies to be there in the start, because honestly, I guess you could say I should change these to where it kind of gradually gets that way. But honestly, like the outbreak in the show, I mean, like everybody's fucking dead. Like that's the majority of people becoming dead like within a couple hours. It's like really like it takes over the globe like within the matter of like a day or two. So I just leave it at like they're all just dead and ready to go. Maybe I could tweak that in another time, but it's fine. Um, because I also don't turn on spawning. I turn zombies to never respawn because that's stupid. Basically, like if I was in the zombie apocalypse, I would the goal for me would be like if I was in my hometown, like I'd be like, all right, we're just gonna fucking, the population of my hometown is like 2,000 people or something like that. So I'd be like, okay, we just got to kill 2,000 zombies roughly, and then this whole town is safe. It's ours. It's safe. Well, I mean, like obviously zombies could drift around, but this all the food, all the houses, all the resources would be safe to get after 2,000 kills, because it's like, okay, well, we cleared this town out. So that's why we just turn all this off. Peak, like this would probably be these two would be the only two I would change. Maybe I would put this at like maybe like, well, I guess technically I see. I don't really know how these work since I turned respawn off. I don't know if that affects this, but maybe I would put this honestly at like, because in the show you don't know how the infection started. You don't know if it's like a lab or whatever. But maybe I would put this at like point 0.1, because it like gradually kills everybody. So maybe the peak would be in like a day or two, you know, and then it would be 1. But I don't know. I just leave it like that. Uh, so I don't. The number of hours that must pass before zombies migrate to empty parts of the same cell. I don't really understand this. Now, I understand this means like they'll move around. So this means they move around to different cells. Like, and I know what cells are in the game, but like I've had no problems with keeping it like this. Like zombies move around and stuff. I think that means they don't see this to me is the zombies are actually intentionally traveling to a location every time variable. And I think that's dumb because hold on one second. Sorry, my voice is getting a little dry. Um, like zombies just stumble around and go wherever they hear noise or just feel like going. So I don't want them to like intentionally be like, "Oh, I want to go over here." They're not going anywhere. They're just moving around. You know what I mean? So that's why I turned that off. Follow sound distance. I put this at the max because okay. So the distance a zombie will try to walk towards the last sound it heard. Now, it's like I was saying before, zombies will keep going. Like I was saying how it would just like go to where it thinks the sound is and just like maybe continue to walk like because it doesn't know, or it's just going that direction because of the noise, and now like it doesn't have any reason to not go that direction. So I'm just gonna assume that like it would just keep going until it heard another noise, because it says the last sound it heard. So yeah, this is like if this zombie heard a gunshot, it would keep going toward the relative area of that gunshot until it heard another gunshot in a different direction. So I put that at the max. That actually really fucks me too, because like as you can see, I turned hordes off because I think the idea of hordes is dumb. And the thing is that I've had no problems in terms of quote unquote hordes because I don't like these zombies aren't intelligent. They're not intelligent or whatever enough to create hordes, you know what I mean? But the accumulation will happen based off these settings that hordes will occur. Zombies should be, for the most part, zombies should be scattered out everywhere randomly. Like, yeah, maybe there'll be one here and then five over there and three here and, So what ends up happening in my playthroughs is that a meta event will happen where a gunshot goes off, or like a car, like one of the zombies hits a car and a car alarm goes off, and or a house alarm goes off, and then like all the zombies will like for it seems like a mile will like the helicopter event will just create hordes, and it's insane. And I'll usually try to take on the horde, and sometimes that's when I'll die or whatever. But my God, yeah, no, trust me, you will not have any issues experiencing hordes with the way I have it set up. Like there are plenty of hordes. It's because that's the thing. You get rewarded for going slow, picking them off like you would in real life. You would want to take one on at a time, but the moment you get like 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, you're fucked. So that's why I have all these. So yeah, this is actually a longer video than I thought it would be. So yeah, that's kind of that's how I'm playing now. I know I kind of changed a lot of this on the fly. But yeah, I thought it would be fun just to kind of talk about this. There's hardly any YouTube videos, surprisingly, about High School of the Dead. So for this game anyway. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed and maybe you'll give it a go. Definitely watch the anime. The soundtrack is fucking amazing. Story is interesting. Blah blah blah. It's got a lot of titties and stuff, which I think is actually kind of annoying, but it's a good show. And sadly, we'll never get a season 2 because the creator, I believe, is dead. So, yeah, see ya.